Hello, YouTube. It is me again. So, I want to talk about my thoughts on the recent era of Doctor Who since Shooty has recently regenerated and we're kind of in this space of limbo slash hiatus. And also, I want to give my thoughts on the future of the show. If you like what you see here, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I would really appreciate it. Thank you. So, my thoughts on this era of Doctor Who. For the most part, I see what they were kind of going for with the whole gods thing in fantasy, but in my opinion, it just did not work. And just only having 2 seasons, not only just 2 seasons, but 2 seasons of 8 episodes of the show, and really even lower than that, like in the first season, unfortunately, there were two Doctor Light episodes. In season 2, there was one. I feel like we did not get enough of Shooty's Doctor, in my humble opinion. And it felt like his Doctor was all over the place. He was supposed to be like the one who had therapy and everything was fine. And granted, just because you're out of therapy doesn't mean that everything is okay and kumbaya. But I feel like there was a lot of space there from season 1 and season 2 to see the gradual decline or getting better or whatever have you of this Doctor that would have made him stand out amongst other Doctors. Now, it doesn't go against Shooty. I think Shooty was great. I think all the actors were great. Millie was great. Verada Sethu as Belinda was great. Nothing wrong with their performances. I feel like they brought a different vibe to the show, especially Shooty with his bold and really great take on the character. I just think when it comes to the writing of the character and the storytelling of his character through the 2 seasons, it just didn't click for me. And maybe it is because he only had 2 seasons in a short amount of time, and it felt like the story was unfinished. And when it comes to these stories and how they're written, it feels like they're going by way too fast. And to me, it feels like RTD is still trying to write a 13-episode show within a short 8-episode season. And I feel like he has, when it comes to Doctor Who in particular, he has not gotten that yet. And I feel like there was way more time that could have been paid attention to the plot overall than just, little things here and there. I feel like the political messaging was very, very weak, in my opinion, especially when it comes to season 2. Well known with Conrad and the whole Wish World stuff. I feel like that was not handled well at all. You had Ruby basically forgive him for all that he did, even though, people in that Wish World were forced into situations that they did not want, and especially when it came to people who are disabled, when it came to Rose, who is transgender, she was completely erased from existence. And then somehow they gave Ruby the right to clean him, all of that, to rewrite him. I did not like that. And also I did not like the rewriting of Belinda all of a sudden wanting a child. And it's like at the end of her first episode, they make a statement for her character of she does not like being coerced. She does not like being controlled. She, wants to go home. She wants this. She makes her stance very clear. And the writers make it very clear through her, only for it to, not be there for after, episode 3 and she's gone. And I've been saying this for the past few months that I think season 2 was supposed to be, the continuation of Ruby's story, especially when you count for, Poppy, the baby, and, everything still surrounding the gods that was really connected to Ruby. I believe that was supposed to be her season, but we all know that for whatever reason, I'm not going to speculate, Millie Gibson only wanted to do 1 season and do a few episodes here in season 2. So there's that. And also the same thing with Shooty. You can tell that, a season 3 was in the stars, and, considering the decision by Disney Plus on whether or not they wanted to renew the show, not renew it, but to continue to finance the show was up in the air. Because after the spinoff show, The War Between Land and Sea, that means their contract is over unless some negotiations happens between now and then or after that show. We do not know. But yeah, so Shooty had to leave, and it cut off whatever development he was going to have, and it felt everything just felt unfinished. And I just don't like that feeling when watching a show, and specifically with Doctor Who, where every single Doctor had like a clear beginning, middle, and end. And I feel like Shooty did not get that. And I feel like a lot of the characters, when it came to Ruby and when it came to Belinda, they also didn't have that. To me, the big bad villains were weak. Sutek was weak. The Ronnie was weak. Omega, who is that? He was here. He ate the Ronnie and then was blasted with, basically a space gun by the Doctor. It was all useless at the end of the day, to be honest. It's very, very sad. And we're left on this big cliffhanger with Billie Piper. Is she the Doctor? Is she Rose? Is she the bad wolf? Is she the moment? I really do not know, and I don't care. I hate the nostalgia bait, to be honest. And I was nearly over it a couple years ago when they were sort of the 60th stuff, but I was willing to give it a pass because I was ready for Shooty, and now it was just all fan service and nostalgia bait. And I'm not remotely interested in if it's going to be a special or 3 specials, a movie with her and David Tennant, or whatever they make up to try to wrap this up as quickly as possible. I'm just not going to watch it. If they wrap it up and then they go on to the next Doctor, I'll be there. And I'll just go on to the next Doctor and not even watch the special. Because I'm just fed up with the oversaturation of nostalgia when it comes to this show. And specifically from RTD's first era. And speaking of the future of this show, like I said, it's up in the air. Whatever Disney decides, I think they're not going to renew their contract to further finance Doctor Who, considering not only critically, but how the viewership on Disney Plus, not BBC, not BBC iPlayer, I'm talking about Disney Plus. The viewership on Disney Plus was just not good. If it was, they would have renewed it by now, and they'll be filming by now. So yeah, I just think this season, this era of Doctor Who, RTD2, and Shooty got what era, whatever you want to call it, it had some bright spots, but overall, I think, in my personal opinion, it felt soulless. It felt way too corporate, and it was just vibes and aura, to be honest, and just relied way too much on shock value of here's this past villain, here's this past monster, here's this past character, and just went all in on nostalgia bait, and just to keep viewers peaked. So what are your thoughts on this era? What do you think of the future of Doctor Who? What would you like to happen to wrap up this whole, Billie Piper, Rose, Bad Wolf storyline? Leave your comments down below, like and subscribe, and bye YouTube.